All right, everybody, thanks for coming back to Crash Command Games. We're going to be unpacking the week here this time. Last podcast went pretty well. I was really tired. I wanted to explain a little bit more about Max Nitro, but could not figure it out. Could not figure out the words to say after that long trip. So, this is a week after ProQuest Week 2. Right? I am on the eve of ProQuest Week 3. I have traveled to 2 separate ProQuests in 2 separate states. I have won 2 ProQuests. That is done on Max Nitro. Same list, no changes, same game plan. Whatever you heard me describe in the Max Nitro video on the Patreon or in little detail in some of the other videos, that's how I did it. Ooh, that is really zoomed in. Let me fix that. And we're back from that little thing. I guess that's going to be kind of as good as we can get it to be right now. So, we have our box for this Unpacking the Week. And like I said, I just got off of a second win. Both ProQuests were pretty fun. The first one, like I said, I went against the Reinar, KO, Azalea, Katsu, Victor, and then fought through KO, Uzuri, and then Victor to pick up that first ProQuest. ProQuest number 2, we went down to Oregon, and I guess I'll start sorting while I'm talking. ProQuest number 2, we went down to Oregon, and a lot of people showed up from a lot of different areas. So as you all may know if you've been following for a minute, I traveled a lot. I traveled a lot during the Road to National season, made some new friends. Nice. Anasu is Oblivion. Very good. Very good. I traveled a lot to do all the Road to Nationals, and I was playing Leviah at the time. Lost a bunch, got really butthurt. We moved on from Leviah. But the point of that story is a lot of the people I met in Boise, Montana, Oregon, Seattle area, everyone I met in those areas, a lot of them showed up to that Oregon location. So a lot of very stiff competition showed up. Some new players, some newer players, some not so experienced players, and that's okay. But a lot of that showed up, so it was very difficult. In that ProQuest, I'm not going to do a whole podcast about, well, I don't know, maybe I will. Who knows? That ProQuest, my matches were, oh man, what was round 1? What was round 1? Prism. Right. Hybrid Prism. This just happens to be one of my easier matchups. No disrespect to the player, obviously, but it's just one of my easier matchups. I have a good amount of poppers. I can get action points. I use the plasma pistol in my build to clear out auras whenever necessary. But basically, you just deny soul. And then on the turn that they think they're going to pop off because you're letting them hit, you're in fact going to smash all of their life away. So that's the Prism matchup. It's really, really simple, really by the numbers. You just have to block smart, deny as much soul as you can, and then you move on from there. Okay. Deathly Whale and... is that a second Beckoning Light? No, okay. So that's how that match goes. Match number 2 is Azalea. This is the closest thing to a 50-50 you can get. Just depends on who goes first. Typically, you want to be running the plasma pistol into this one as well, just so you can store a steam counter on that when you have extra resources, nothing else to do, or you have an extra action point for some reason. And then you can just, if you have to full block something or you just get through a rough turn, then you can just still return the pistol and kind of try to keep life parity with them up until you can surge ahead with the Nitro Mechanoid. That is obviously the game plan for every match, but the point is, it's a 50-50, right? You just have to play smart, play as best you can, return as much damage as you can, keep life parity, and then knock out the Mechanoid. I won that one. It's a bit close. I had a really good turn. I think turn 2 or 3 that really shut down the Azalea versatility. 3 T-bones into a Meganetic, guaranteed that I was going to get all of the Skullbone and the Findall's Spring Tunic. That slowed their game down quite a bit. They had to blind a few times. And that caused me to buy as much time as I needed to get the Nitro Mechanoid out. So that is always good. Okay. Going into round 3, this is Dorinthia. Another favorite matchup for Max because they are presenting really good value every turn and they will just grind most decks out. But what I'm trying to do as Max into Warrior, nice foil Bequest the Vast Beyond. Good foil Majestic. What I'm trying to do is basically play this slow little game. Take a little bit of damage from here and there, return a pretty non-threatening attack, maybe chip some of their armor away with some T-bones, and then build up the hyperdrivers. And from the point on that I have the hyperdrivers, obviously, I'm just waiting for the Nitro Mechanoid. And they think they're chipping away your life, chipping away the value. They think they're getting really far ahead, when in reality, you're just going to erase their last 2 or 3 turns of work by playing the Nitro Mechanoid, by gaining all of that armor and block value. And then you can slowly set up. They can drop you down to like sub 20 life at that point, and they feel really good, but then you have that time to set up the combo and you just pound them away. And man, can I stop getting these? It's a very beautiful card, but I'm just, come on.
Fuck it, man. Can't be worried about that shit. Life goes on, man. Home sweet home, Mr. L.
That's not why we open boxes. It's kind of a salty take on that card. I guess I can still get like a Marvel or something. And then every warrior is like this. They think they're getting all this like secret value, and they're just outvaluing you. Really, what they're doing is they're wasting a lot of their power cards and turns, while you get ready to just dumpster all the value they've built, retake the game, and then pace it until you can just outrace them. Right? Very weird game flow, but if you get used to it, Max Nitro can be quite good. Par for the course. Round 4. Who was round 4? We had a break. Went to go get some drinks again. Rally up and get in a good mood. Have some good food, because the break was unfortunately... Hey! There we go. Foil Warmonger's Diplomacy. Very good. Very good. Ooh, and a Morlock Hill. And we come back to round 4, and I play...
One eternity later.
Oh, Azalea. That took me a long time. Another Azalea. Different, obviously a different Azalea this time. And same thing, you know, just get my early T-bone, set up the Meganetic to strip away all their options, and then they're trying to navigate in the dark. It doesn't work out too well. I build the Nitro Mechanoid, and I demolish them. Last game of Swiss is 5 Dorinthia Axes. This was a little more of a methodical game. The other player was very slow, and not that they were slow playing, but they were thinking about every single move. We had a life discrepancy at one point in time. It's not a huge deal. We figured it out. I just gave up the 1 point. We were 1 point off. It was not a huge discrepancy. They didn't make a big deal out of it. I didn't make a big deal out of it. We just said, here, just have the point. I don't care. It was on a turn that I was on the Nitro Mechanoid anyway, and grinded them out. Almost ran out of things to banish with the Nitro Mechanoid. Almost ran out of things to banish. But eventually I just saved that until I had a big boost turn, blocked it out, and then finished it with the overpower on the Nitro Mechanoid. So that was Swiss. I leave undefeated in Swiss, which is fantastic. Which, spoiler alert, means I end undefeated in the top 8 as well, since I won it. First match, unfortunately, it was the Prism. One of our friends from my local meta had driven down there by himself, and it was the Prism. And much like last time, weirdly, a Phi had snuck into top 8 at this ProQuest, and that was the one matchup I was afraid of. So again, I was considering maybe I just give this one to the teammate who has a better matchup into Phi. We just decide to play it out. They say, no, there's no pressure. We're here. We're going to figure it out. And he wanted to win on his own merits. So we duke it out. Prism plays to Prism's worst matchup, I think, right now. There might be a worse matchup, but it feels really good as Max Nitro going into Prism, which is everybody's worst nightmare right now. Everybody's telling me how bad Prism is, how broken Prism is, how it can't be dealt with. Well, Prism fortunately can't seem to deal with some poppers, a little pistol, and some bullets, right? So I think Mechanologist is due for a quick resurgence in this current meta. That'll be very cool to see. And yeah, so we clean up that match pretty handily, get the Nitro Mechanoid, pound out a high octane turn, and wrap that up. Follow into the next match, semifinals. Oh, I remember what happened. How could I forget this? How could I forget what had happened? My first match was not the Prism. Jesus. So this is a little bit out of order. My first match was a Victor. Now this might normally be just a fantastic, oh thank God I get a Victor, because they're too slow. They don't do enough. They overpower some big damage, but by the time you turn the game around with the Nitro Mechanoid, it's just irrelevant. It's much like the Warrior matchups right now. Victor was my first match. That was the first match of the top 8. I guess I was probably trying to fucking get rid of the memory of that match because it's your boy forgot to write down in his deck list the Nitro Mechanoid. Playing Max Nitro, played it all tournament long. Deck check for the top 8 reveals that I did not write down that I was in fact playing the Nitro Mechanoid. Luckily, the math says that was my full deck, and everyone knows that was my full deck. Judge just gave me an IP2, and I almost wanted to leave at that moment, just be like, fuck it, they can just have it. But then I was like, well, who am I playing? And they say Victor, and I go, it is one of my favorite matchups. I should probably play this through. So I sit down with an IP2, draw a couple hands with 3 cards instead of 4, but it just happens to work out almost perfectly in my favor. I go first because I'm top seed. I choose to go first. I present, I think it was just a T-Bone, and then pitch a blue to create a hyperdriver, no crank, Arsenal the Mechanoid. They get a very good turn. They go Zealous Belting, which I blocked with 1 card. And then I took some damage. And then Command and Conquer, block with both cards, pass, draw. And then the next turn from there, we start to play as normal. And I'm already at 1 hyperdriver. I happen to twin drive, banish 2 crankshafts. So that 1 hyperdriver is going to stay around as long as I need it to. Widespread Annihilation. Good stuff. And then, yeah, just by the numbers, I'm just taking 2 or 3 damage a turn. He got multiple turns of Zealous Belting, Command and Conquer, Zealous Belting, Command and Conquer, Zealous Belt. He got all of the pressure he could have possibly wanted. It's just not enough because I'm just sitting there taking 2 or 3 damage a turn, as planned, building the hyperdrivers, and then on turn 4 I build the Mechanoid. I don't quite pop off that turn, but I start applying some pressure, and then I think it was like a turn two later, I T-bone everything, and then scramble pulse some of the armor. After that, it's just a matter of time until I got the high octane and won that game. So just a note to anyone out there, multiple notes, multiple things for you to learn from this match. Don't give up because you get an IP2 because you're dumb and don't know how to write a deck list.
Follow your dreams. You can reach your goals. I'm living proof.
That was the box. That's a terrible box. I have a few other packs I'm going to open. They're from loose packs that were in the store that I bought. Yeah, don't give up just because you get an IP2. Play the game. You just have to play a little bit smarter for a few turns. And like, is that really all so bad? I didn't believe so. I did at first when I thought it might be against the fire or something, but it wasn't. So, you know, stick to your guns, stick to your game plan, do your best, play through, because then I go through it and face the prism that had driven to the location with not with us, but you know, whatever. I win that matchup, and then me and the last story decide the last matchup is good to go. I win. I win another one. They take their second. But because I've already won a pro quest, assumptively they get their invite to the Netherlands. I'm not sure if they're planning on going. I hope they do. They're a very fun player. Very, very solid player that must have practiced quite a bit to get that good with Dory this fast. Definitely frontline leggings. So that was my pro quest week 2. I have now... the microphone is covering it. I now have 2 of that mat, which is very exciting. One is... where the hell is the other mat? I don't know. It's somewhere. I might sell it. I might give it away. Who knows? The point is I have 2 of them. We are on, like I said, the eve of ProQuest Week 3. We are now a week and a half, 2 weeks out of Dromai meta, and people are still kind of figuring out their spot. I see a lot of people pivoting straight to Themis. But just Themis, not a Marvel or anything. I see people pivoting already to Prism, and people are thinking that that's their savior. People are also saying that Prism's broken, but it's only been a week or 2 into this meta, and people are like, give me bans. I see Pheno Black left and right talking about how you're playing a different game. Into some matches, you are, right? Some heroes just cannot deal with Illusionist, and that does feel like a different game to some. But in this wide open of a meta, which is what everybody seemed to want, you're gonna have some rocks to your scissors. You're gonna get your shit kicked in every now and then, and there's not gonna be a lot you can do about it. Unless we tighten up the meta, lower the hero count, and work on balance in a tighter form, this is what's gonna happen. Okay? You're gonna have hard counters that are just uncontrollable unless you cripple them and take them out of the meta entirely. And we just have to deal with that. I want there to be a complete balance and not just absolute dominance. Damn, I'm just pulling all the Oblivions, huh? But, you know, that's just not how it's going to be. You want everyone to have their shot. Everyone's going to have their shot. I am kind of sick of seeing the knee-jerk reaction of, shit, it's been a week. Ban everything. I can't deal with it with this one deck that I'm on. So don't burn your deck. Don't sell it the second it falls out of favor. Hold on to it. I know that means you have to buy a few more cards, and I don't think that's a super crazy take, that in a collectible card game and a trading card game, you're expected to kind of hang on to some cards. But if you want to be more competitive, see this right here? See, y'all remember when I say every time I get a hero, I build a deck, right? I don't take them apart. You just move cards if you need to, and otherwise you just have a couple decks. That way, when the meta does shift huge, I have a pool. Honestly, like some people might look at that and be like, "Oh, look who has all the money" or something. All right, that's one deck every semester. That's whatever. I just think if you have a wider hero pool, you'll be less susceptible to meta shifts. And I do believe that's the way to go. You can't always play your favorite hero. You can't always play Magical Christmas. God damn, can I stop pulling this one too? And I forgot to go back to this. Can't play Magical Christmas Land all the time. I'm in the process of building Prism now. It's been a few weeks. I just can't really afford all of the cards. I'm not building Prism because she's meta. Anyone around here? It's fucking hot in here. You can ask anyone around my local meta area. Or anyone in the Discord when you get into the Discord from joining the Patreon. You will be able to ask them and know for sure. I've been trying to build Prism since I got her from Nationals, right? I earned the Prism card. That is my Illusionist class that I need to build for my personal challenge. So she's who I've been building for a while. I'm nowhere near done building the collection, but while I'm building that collection, got those other decks to fall on. right? And Max Nitro is dirt cheap to build. Nobody likes Mechanologist right now. Couldn't tell you why. Yeah, Shaden Death Hydra foil. It's fucking awesome. Right? Nobody fucking likes Mechanologist right now, and I couldn't tell you why. I'm seeing success with them. They get action points. They push past Prism. They have all solid blocking cards, right? Like Warriors do. They have decent armor. The only real bad matchup is Ninja if you're trying to play the long con like Max Nitro here. But if you're on Dash, I think you can outrace the Ninjas right now. Might be a little close, might be a little tight, but it's possible. Man, what are these packs? I am getting rocked, and I deserve it. I've had too much luck recently. So I guess we can kind of say my take on the current meta is Mechanologist is back in a big way. Illusionists are back in a big way. We're back to the rock, paper, scissors thing where you know, Bruce will beat the mechs. Mechs and Bruce have an okay time against the Illusionists, and then the Guardians can sometimes smash through every other class, really. I think Guardians are where Runeblades used to be, where they were like the gatekeepers. Oh, damn it. Zalia's really good too, though. She's kind of like an offshoot, obviously being the only ranger, I think, still. Man, the more and more I talk about it, the more I just think to Shadow Runeblade that you can't even call it rock, paper, scissors anymore. We're playing like rock, paper, scissors, tornado, fucking bomb, or whatever the hell beats tornado. I don't know. It's a wide open meta. If you have a few decks, try them. ProQuest is the time to do it. Just have fun. Go ham. You know what I mean? If you've been practicing a Dark Horse for a while and you know your local meta and you know it can do it, fucking full send. Get that shit out. Radiant Soul, Phantom, Tribute, Phantom. Jesus, can I get some fire? I guess I got the Warmonger's Diplomacy. I can't be super mad. But yeah, it's going to be a while, right? We're not going to have this meta figured out for shit. Maybe not even until Pro Tour. Maybe not even until Pro Tour will we have the post-Dramai world figured out. Maybe after Part the Mistveil it shakes up again even further because we have so many heroes that can just come in and out of the rotation. I don't know that we're going to have a good time. Ooh, nice. Blue Herald of Triumph after all of those. Maybe we're just not going to have a really good time, an easy time figuring this one out. It kind of feels like on any given day, you show up with a deck. If you've put in the time and the practice... Oh my god, there it is. Luminaris Celestial Fury. If you put in the time and the practice, you're going to be the one to walk away that day. So yeah, while I did just kind of harp on being a main and how you shouldn't just be a main, have an off main, have a secret main, whatever, you know? Just make sure you can't be shut out of a meta because a shift happened. Like, I guess, man. I kind of want to open another box, but I don't. I've unpacked a week. There's nothing more to talk about. Much like my armory experiences in the past couple months, this was ass. Except for the Warmonger's Diplomacy. That being said, there's the highlights. If you're on the Patreon, you saw I just posted some of my trip pictures of the beautiful waterfalls of Oregon. Anytime you're traveling for any kind of pro quest, just make sure to not make that your whole trip. If you can, show up a little bit early, explore the town a little bit, walk around, have some of the local food, ask locals for what was good. We found really good food and really good drinks wherever we went. Good times were had with friends. And unfortunately for one of my friends that rode with me, I ring cursed him. Like... That's what I'm going to call it anytime anyone rides with me. They're just twisted, just in the back. I'll put a Don't get ring cursed. Thanks for unpacking the week with me again. Go ahead and check me out on Twitter, Patreon, get in our Discord, get to playing games with us. Check out my store on Crash Command Games on eBay and TCG Player. Thanks everybody again for unpacking this week. This one is 0.